that teamwork makes the dream work kind of feel, that just fell apart. Rules, regulation, bad management, supervision, over the shoulder, micromanagement, the freedom that I had in the beginning to develop a lot of programs and do a lot with the people that were there, that just kind of shifted the teamwork, the feeling that we had, the relationships, the building up with the team, being in the same space, really working hard for the greater goods. The people left one after another, and you could feel that there was a shift, and the major shift that I could feel, LeAnn, was all about the money. It was all about the money. And that's when I knew that that was just not my spiel. That was just not my thing. I couldn't fit in anymore, so to speak.
Hey, sales hunters, welcome to season 2 of Beyond the Business Plan, where heart meets hustle and every episode inspires you on your entrepreneurial journey. I'm LeAnn Lyon, and together we'll chart new courses, tackle challenges, and celebrate those big wins with expert guests, honest stories, and plenty of joy along the way. If you love the show, tap follow, subscribe, leave a quick review, or join our conversation with hashtag JoyMinder, because your support helps us reach and inspire more entrepreneurs. Set sail on your business adventure with Beyond the Business Plan. My guest today assists executives, entrepreneurs, and leaders that feel stuck become unstoppable. As a trauma-informed executive and transformation coach, corporate wellness expert, leadership resilience coach, and yoga studio owner, Elian Hann offers and assists her clients with a holistic approach to personal success and professional development. She is a best-selling author, a TV show host, a master trainer for Fowler International, and an inspiring speaker. Elian, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, LeAnn. Good to see you. Thank you for having us on your show today.
Good to see you. And we've actually been doing podcasts alongside each other for shows for quite a while. And now it's so exciting to have you here on my show.
Thank you, friend. Yeah, it's been 3 years or so, 2.5, 3 years. Absolutely. Yes.
Although this is technically season 1 of Beyond the Business Plan, it's actually season 3 for me doing podcasts because of the other platform that we were on. And I know you've had some shifts in the last couple of months as well. So our audience, of course, we're welcoming those professionals who are thinking about stepping out into something new. How are those shifts going for you?
Well, when it comes to my podcast, I've made a shift. We were kind of like dissolving, so to speak, on our previous platform. And I just had some thoughts about doing something new and bringing what used to be Elian's Joy a little bit more to a real and bold podcast format. So I revamped it, and actually I have the first show coming up next week. So I just took a time to work on everything and think about the things that I want to get out there and just make it a little bit more realistic in the sense of, yeah, that didn't work for me, does and why. And I got some great stuff coming up. So it's called the Resilient Rebel Show. And we're starting next week. I'm very excited about that. So just keep going. I loved what I was doing. Yeah, having the show platform to connect with others, of course, and also just get and share my material.
Wonderful. Well, and you've had a couple of years to develop some material. How long have you been an entrepreneur?
For the last, my entire life, I stepped into corporate. Yes, for my entire life, must say, per se, because I was always having my own business. It was not so difficult as the last couple of years because it's kind of like started again. So I went from having my own business, which was at that point always a yoga and wellness studio. I operated 3 different ones, and I worked for people as a part-timer, so to speak, in fitness centers and wellness centers and so forth. That was what I was doing professionally most of my life. And then in 2015, I stepped into a work situation in the sense of working for a corporation. And that went really well till they became very, very, very corporate on me. And then I said, enough of all that, right? So I just had to just go back to being myself and stepping out of it. It was a safety net for a while, but yes.
So what did that feel like, or how did you know that things had shifted to the very, very corporate that made you feel like I can't do this anymore? What was happening?
Rules, regulation, bad management, supervision, over the shoulder, micromanagement, the freedom that I had in the beginning to develop a lot of programs and do a lot with the people that were there, that just kind of shifted the teamwork, the feeling that we had, the relationships, the building up with the teamwork, everybody being in the same space, really working hard for the greater goods. That teamwork makes the dream work kind of feel, that just fell apart. So people left one after another, and you could feel that there was a shift. And the major shift that I could feel, LeAnn, was all about the money. It was all about the money. And that's when I knew that that was just not my spiel. That was just not my thing. It was I couldn't fit in anymore, so to speak.
Was there a shift, specific shift that you saw, like a management change that precipitated? I mean, you rattled off a whole list of things. Whoa, that was a long list of things.
All of them.
Great.
All of them. Yeah.
Okay.
So to kind of feel and go back there, I was really there. I was working as a counselor, I was working as a wellness counselor, and I was really there for the patients.
Mhm.
When management got replaced, new CEO, new management, another company bought the company.
Oh,
So a new set of rules, new set of leadership, and I'm open to that. Go ahead. I know that when I know that there's new leadership, that we change the rules and we want to put our stamp on it, right? We understand that. Everybody wants to do their thing, but it was not in good communication.
mhm.
That's where it started lacking first. And it was not in good setting boundaries. It was not good when it comes to everybody gets enough respect and attention. So what I felt sliding was that one thing that we all need in any work setting, if it's part-time or just volunteer or anything, is that feeling that you're being respected, acknowledged, and seen and heard, right? That feeling that you count, the feeling that you matter.
Mhm.
And there was a time that nobody checked on me or gave me feedback or responded to my questions or responded to the fact that I wanted to have a meeting or some supervision or just, some direction even, right? And just to be seen and heard is not to be acknowledged I think it's very painful for a lot of people, because respect is a very important thing in our lives in general and in a setting like that. And it wasn't that I just left on high heels in the sense of puff, 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 huff, huff, huff. I know it better. But I also let it fester for at least a year.
Mm.
And I recognized the symptoms of burnout and stress.
Yep.
It's their defects. That whole year, crying every day, coming home stressed out, feeling anxious, blaming everybody else, but not seeing that I can take action. I did take a lot of action, but not being heard and seen, like I said. So in a sense of, this is just a dead end for me, that feeling of burnout, not sleeping, dragging to go to work, and then even coming to the workplace and you're shaking, you're knowing it.
Right.
It's
Well,
coming to the workplace and everybody's miserable, right? Your first cup of coffee is with people that are
oh,
meh.
complaining about the same things, right? Well, I mean, teachers have it happen too. I was a teacher. I went through an administration change. Fortunately, we went from one really great principal to another really great principal, but there was still the shift of that. And then there were just other factors. So it's not always leadership. In your case, it sounds like it was. Sometimes it's leadership, but sometimes it's just other factors. I mean, an election year came around and they actually handed me a list and said, tell your students' parents to vote this way. And I'm like, what? That's not in my job description. It's not up to me. That's not okay. And then the environmental factor of I had a classroom without a window. So physically, and I live in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So that meant for months, I might not see the sun from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
So environmental factors, there can be so many reasons that you reach burnout. But when you reach burnout, when you see the signs of burnout, which you've clearly laid out in front of us, which is great, you got to take that step. But you use the word festering. Ew. So what was the final straw for you?
I think it was festering without you first acknowledging that you're not in a healthy place, because we tend to not look at ourselves first, right?
Mhm.
So just like you said, the teamwork, it's others sometimes it's upper level, but sometimes it's environmental, or not being able to see the sun, or not being able to have a good team around you, right? People that can be also mean, or not work together for that matter. Paperwork, loads of paperwork that came in, tons of paperwork. I get it. I love to do documentation for you, but not to the extent of where the documentation takes more time than what you actually need to do.
Right.
Right. And so we don't think about ourselves. So I thought about my clients, the patients, the people that come to see me every day, the people that I was there for, for kids in your case, right? You go because they love you and they want you to be there. And so I kind of singled myself out in the beginning, and let this feeling of not being happy, based, fester, because I just wanted to be there for them. And we are inherent people that give, and we are, in this case, women that are givers and always there for others, and a whole lot of story of how we were brought up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, there's so much there. Yes. And you can stay for the clients, or for, like you said, for my case, the kids, but also realizing that if we're not happy, we are not serving those clients or those kids at the best level for their growth necessarily. Now, on teachers, you could argue, well, we have a teacher shortage, or we don't have enough great teachers. And, I knew I was a very good teacher, but I also knew that I was becoming a parent at the same time. It was becoming apparent that when I became a parent, I was not going to be able to be there for my own children. And I thought, well, that's not a great situation. So where's the balance there? The 150 other people's kids, or the one that I'm birthing now? Which one am I going to ultimately have the greatest impact on? And it's the one. So
Work-life balance in a beautiful way, in a sense of, that means that even when I come home, that I'm not dragging the family for another 2 hours in my dismay of the day, right? Like, and tired, or I just go to bed, or that kind of, or even behavior that is not healthy, right? It's like,
yeah.
maybe I have a glass of wine too much, or because now I can sleep. That kind of stuff is just not healthy.
It's rampant.
And
When you knew you were going to make the change, what was your first step? Did you quit and then start, or did you kind of start doing some stuff first so that you had a kind of a smoother transition? What was your
very good, very good. I knew in the first place, I always knew it was not me. I built up that confidence over a long time, so that I wasn't born with that, right? But that confidence, in the sense that I am doing the right thing, came with my work over the years, helping others. And I was born with that. And I was in a very good place when it comes to that confidence and self-esteem, in the sense of, if I do this alone, I can do that. So what's happened actually, is that the company kind of put everybody on a part-time status for a while. So what I immediately did was saying, hey, I'm on my own as well. I got my own practice. If you want to come see me, or even to other people, I got my own office now. Come see me on those 3 days of the week. I work 6 days. I evened that out, but I was very happy to have these 3 days for myself and then slowly kind of fade out in the 3 days that I was still working for the company. So that went on for a while, but I kind of had that in between phase of, am I doing the right thing? It's taken a lot. And I didn't know ultimately when I really left if I was still doing the right thing. I had enough confidence in myself, but the hardest part is, of course, to just get clients on your own or sell your product on your own or be alone, right? Entrepreneurship, I always say it's a very lonely being stuff, business.
Yep.
Yep.
And actually, one reason that I've developed a community, we meet together on Monday mornings at 9 a.m. Central Time, where entrepreneurs, or even if you're just like getting towards it and you want to meet other entrepreneurs, you want to talk to us and ask questions, we meet together on Zoom. And you can find out more information if you go to LeAnnLyon.com and check on the events tab and come on over and check us out, because that's what we do. We get together. There's usually, right now, there's about a half dozen. When we get much larger, we'll split into a couple of groups, but talk about topics. What's going on in our business? How can we, because it can otherwise be lonely. And if you're struggling with something, it could be anything. It could be marketing. It could be personnel. It can be, I have this idea. I don't know what to go with it next, or if it's a good idea. We can bounce those things off of other entrepreneurs, and it's just a beautiful thing.
And that is a beautiful thing. And I had to find out the hard way. I thought I had the tools and the skill set and, ready to go. I always talk about mindset, tools, skill sets. You got it. But where are these clients all of a sudden, right? So I learned, of course, over the years to engage in other groups, circles, containers, as we call it sometimes, masterminds or groups where we all go through the same thing when it comes to exactly what you're talking about. That entrepreneurship, it's great what you can do what you do well, right? I can teach a great yoga class or I can help somebody in a session. But now what do I do about the rest of the business? Right? How do I get that person in that session, right? So it's all that business, going back to, yes, I had run many studios. It was not necessarily bookkeeping, advertising, things like that, but that whole thing of what is it? And getting that machine started off the business side of it is where you need help, where you need companionship, where you need to talk to other people. I'm very proud that you do that. I'm very happy to hear that you do that, because that sharing with other entrepreneurs, that's really, really important, to find that team, a group to work with and to share with and to share your struggles and your outcome.
Yeah.
Right?
And we're not a referral group, and we're not there to sell each other anything. Although, occasionally alliances will happen, and that's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's the proverbial kind of looking around. Oh, it is. The book is right here. A book that I've referred to with other times, The E-Myth. The story of the woman who's really good at making pies, and everybody's like, you should have a business making pies. And suddenly, into it, she realizes she never gets to bake anymore because she's so busy doing bookwork and cleaning the store and running customers and filling orders that she never gets to bake anymore.
And then again, we have to
balance.
On that note, we have to find that balance again, right? For ourselves as well, into being in the business and on the business.
Yeah.
Right. So how many hours do I work on the business, and I'm trying to get a funnel or write something or create content or things that I want to work with in my course. And then the other thing is doing it, right? Taping, filming, recording, that kind of stuff, and getting our podcast out, getting the word out, and really branding ourselves that way. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. And I found the formula. I'm in a really good place right now. But again, it's a lot of time, right? It's a lot of time invested. Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to ask you a little bit about that formula, if that's okay. I'd love to give a little insight and give a little hope. Hey, sales setters, are you ready to launch or refresh your business? Join us at the very next Beyond the Business Plan Summit for breakthrough strategies and inspiration. Visit joyminder.com/summit or check the link in the show notes for our incredible list of speakers and topics. And let's go beyond business plans together. And we are right back. Hello, my name is LeAnn Lyon. This is Elian Hann, my guest for today. We have been talking about her journey as an entrepreneur. She was an entrepreneur. Then she went into corporate for a little while when that wasn't working out the way it's kind of funny. I'm going to go here first. Sometimes you can find a job in a corporate position. I did too. My first sales job felt very entrepreneurial, and outside sales kind of is because you own your book of business. Now, granted, I still had to follow the steps of the corporation, and I did it well. I'm indicating behind me. I have a few awards behind me, but I had a lot of autonomy. But I still had to show up for the meetings on time, Monday and Friday, right?
Yeah.
But when that autonomy starts to go away, it didn't for me. I just outgrew where I wanted to be. I had some other priorities that were coming forward in my life. But in your case, the autonomy was being stripped away and then eventually went back into your own practice. Just before the break, you were saying, though, that there's a lot to juggle, a lot of balls to balance, marketing and fulfillment and acquisition and all the things. You said you've kind of come up with a good system. You want to share a little tidbit on that?
Yeah, I think for all of us, when we started, when we're a few years in, it's just like brushing our teeth. We have to create that habit. We have to create and come up with some form of discipline. What we're doing, for me, for instance, that means in the morning it's me time. It's my coffee, it's my walk, it's the meditate, the coffee, there you go. And the things that we need to do for ourselves to get us into what I call just simply an attitude of gratitude. Like, yay, I'm good for the day. I feel it. I'm having my energy up. And then after that, I have the days planned. I'm just a planner. And I'm just a planner in a sense of creating those habits. On Monday and Wednesday, I will do this. On Tuesday and Thursday, I will do this. On Friday morning is my catch-up. Friday is my catch-up morning. And then the afternoons are fairly open for new meetings or scheduling new clients or discovery calls. And so on Monday and Wednesday, just to balance it a little bit, in the morning, I will always be very busy with acquisition and with programming and content creation. And in the afternoons, I always have the openings in my clients. So, and then on the other 2 days, did I say always? I say always all the time. On the other 2 days, I have 2 days in the week that I only see people, 2 days in the week, back to back, bam. And that works for my clients. I try to keep that consistency with what I'm doing on my creative days. And when it's just bam, work, and I love it, I'm being with it, right? And it doesn't mean that somebody might say, well, I can't see you on Mondays or on Wednesdays. My Tuesdays are my best days. Well, then I'll work you in on Tuesdays, no problem. So I have the whole afternoon open. What can we do? But on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, I have meetings, and I'm in the sense of my meetings, right?
Yeah.
Just like you said, your meeting to my meetings to be with a group, be with another coaching group. It might be a LinkedIn or an Alignable or a Facebook group. Just the feeling that you're sharing and that you're creating at the same time. So for me, it's discipline, just creating those habits again, just setting yourself up for success. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I similarly, I mean, podcasting is a big part of my marketing, right? I mean, you get your podcast, you do your interviews, but then you have to do the production side of it. You have to upload it, you have to clip it, you have to, potentially do a little bit of editing, right? Here and there. But then you got to put it up on social media. So there's so many other things. This is the fun part for me. I love this part, but the hours of editing later, not so much. When you get to the point that you can hire a team, that you know what to train your team on doing, then you can offload some of those things. But how important is it for you to know as the owner what the team is doing?
Well, we have meetings every month and I communicate with them every day. So yes, I have a team because for me, at some point, I had a lot on my plate, and it was just very interesting to see how I could actually delegate a lot of things that were for them easy to manage, and I could create, for instance, content for social media, and they would put that in a Canva picture, or put that in a, nice carousel or anything like that. So for me, that takes a lot of the back office work out that I can trust other people to do for me. And then what you said, the part of indeed the writing, the speaking, the recording, all that stuff that we need to keep up with as well, that is important for our business. For me, that's Friday mornings, and again, backtracking and see what is left on the table from the week and doing these things as well. It's not just the creation of things, but it's just like you said, it's practical, doing it, just putting it on YouTube or putting it on your platforms and creating these courses, recording them, that kind of thing. Yeah.
You gotta pay the bills sometimes. That's a good thing to get scheduled in there.
Yeah.
Do you so for me, I will periodically tear down my schedule, where I'm like, okay, things have shifted. I want to do podcast recordings, and I want to know that on Monday afternoons and Thursday mornings is typically when I'll do the recordings. And those are like you said, those are the times I encourage people to generally sign up to do them, because then I know what I'm doing on those days at those times. Somebody's completely not available and I want to make it work, I can shift things around. But I do revamp my schedule, what I'm doing day to day, probably a couple times a year. I work on a trimester system in my business, so I could even say 3 times a year I look at revamping. How about you?
I have quarterly. I'm very when scaling and my business and everything I do quarterly, I just kind of revamp what worked and what didn't work. If I see, for instance, let's say an example that I scale in April to see what happened the first quarter of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We got to be real in the first place, right? Did it work or did it not work? So let's say I spend a lot of time on a webinar that didn't work out so well, but I can see that my podcast created some interest, right? And a blog created some interest. Then I can just, in the second quarter of that year, just like you said, I can just really not reformat necessarily, but know where I have to put my attention to, right? Where I have to put my time to words. So if that's going to be a blog, then I'm going to write more of that. So I'm going to just do more, in that, more information sharing that way, or maybe a little bit more in the show again, that kind of thing. Absolutely. I think it's about realistically looking at what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like I know some people that say alignable is all for me, and I would say I tried that, and LinkedIn is all for me, right? Things, or Facebook, or wherever your priority, but also your interest and your passion draw you to, which is really, really important. I just really realized that if I wouldn't like it, I would upload things, but not with that passionate energy that I would want to put behind it. In a sense of, if you're doing LinkedIn, but you're thinking, well, I just have to post something 3 times a week, but I don't really want to. That's not creating the right answers, right? The right content, the right stuff that you want out of it.
And ultimately, don't we kind of discover that what we enjoy means that the people we'll enjoy are there also, I love Alignable and I love LinkedIn, but there are different people that hang out in the 2 places. And so, first of all, will you find your audience at one or the other, or both? And then the second is, do you like the audience that you attract from one or the other, or both? Because if you don't, it's just as important. I just heard this very recently. It's just as important to attract the people you want as to also repel the people you don't. I have a funny story about that. I volunteer a lot at church, and I thought, hey, I'm going to start a small group. And I was newly empty nested, I thought, because my kids were in college. I was like, I'm empty nested, sort of. And I told somebody, I'd love to start an empty nester group. She goes, oh, I've got the perfect person for you to meet. So I met this person and we decided to get together for coffee. She came over to my home, and 3 hours of boo-hoo, I can't, oh my God, she's all sad. And I'm like, woohoo, the kids are gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I need to rethink.
Yeah.
I don't want I don't want to create a small group of boohooing. I want to create a group of, we're ready for the stage. Let's go. Obviously we love our children. We're always going to be there, but I'm ready for them to be independent. I'm not begging them to come home 3 times a week for dinner like she was.
Yeah.
They don't want to come home for dinner. I'm like, good. That means they're successful. That means they have a life.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want. Yeah, I recognize it so well. Oh my golly. Yes. One of those. Oh, I remember sitting in the stands even of high school and go like, "Yay, graduation day!" And everybody else was sobbing. And I was like, "This is good, right? We're gonna go off to college. Be gone. I gave you roots. I gave you wings." I always told my son.
Right.
So you gotta go now. You gotta go.
And yet we both, and I know this because you just spent a little bit of time, taking care of helping him launch through another season in his life. And I'm so blessed to have great conversations with my daughters regularly.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between, being in touch and being an encourager, but I love when they ask me for advice, but I wait for it. Well, most of the time.
Most of the time, yes. Oops. No, but I think it's exactly, you're hitting it on the head. And it's, again, that goes back to sometimes I realized when I was sitting there that I was sitting next to generations of people that hadn't left, right? And generations of people that were taught to stay around themselves. And so, and I was always like, go, 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 explore, explore, explore. So a little bit different in upbringing and what they have learned and where they came from. But I can see what you're saying because that was not the right mix of tears and joy. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I felt my feels at graduation day. Don't get me wrong.
And you're right about having to be aligned with somebody. I have no problem telling people I can't work with you, or I'm sorry, I can't work with you anymore. And that is just also just to protect ourselves. If nothing is happening and we're just not really jiving, right, with each other, then there is no outcome. There is no journey.
Yeah, because as business owners, I mean, I hope that people are seeking joy, and it doesn't mean you're going to be happy every single day, but part of joy is that satisfaction, that deep knowledge that you're making a difference. And if you hit a roadblock with a client, and that doesn't matter if they're, they're doing what you do or what I do, if we're not making progress, generally, that's when the joy begins to diminish. And it's probably just better to help them find another fit. I love that I have a whole curated connection opportunity where I can introduce them. Hey, this person's been great for you, but if you're hitting a roadblock, maybe this person would be a good shift for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that is where we are so good at networking and making connections and collaborating with others, because that's when I can say, hey, why don't you just go see LeAnn? She's more of a, she can be more of assistant to you than I can, because maybe we're talking more about this and that. We're having a little bit of a niche going on here, in that sense of, sometimes not understanding and aligning necessarily with somebody. So yeah, I feel always free to refer to somebody else or to bring somebody else in. Absolutely. And that's, I think, the power of when we get to that stage where we know that it's wonderful to send somebody somewhere else. It's so wonderful.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. I've been let go. And, being let go, it's not fun, but the next place I ended up was absolutely divinely meant to be. Yeah. So, just trust the path. In my spiritual tradition, we say that God knows the end from the beginning. So, even when we're going through hard things, and entrepreneurship is hard at times, there is the end is known from the beginning. If you can repeat that and believe that, it makes going through those hard times a little bit easier.
I truly believe that. And I believe that if we have that hope and faith that we know that there's an answer, even that the teacher doesn't give it during the test, right? We just don't know. We're just spread out and doing and going and trying and new things. And at some point we are just there. You're just there. And if you, as long as you keep that hope, even if it's hard in the beginning, you don't know where to find people, you don't know where to find your clients, the people that you want to work with, people that you want to sell to, whatever it is that you're doing and stepping into, as long as you know, you just keep going. Just keep going. That's always what I tell everybody when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to leadership. Do what you know is very good. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. It will pay off. Just be persistent, consistent and persistent. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That leads me to a question because you're so wise and I love, I love your energy. I love how you present. I love everything that I've gotten to know about you over some time. And I'm curious, when you were young, this is a question I've often asked, but haven't asked for a little while. When you were young, let's say 7, 8, 9 years old, and we are of a generation where we had a certain amount of freedom at that age that may or may not exactly exist today. But at 7, 8, 9, do you remember what you would do for fun? Were you a reader? Did you imagine? Did you play? What was your thing?
I was a player and a mover and a shaker. I was a dancer, I think I was born a dancer. I was always moving, I was always dancing. That was my passion. I was in several classes a week. I did play tennis in the sense that I was a doer, right? I needed to be outside, I needed to go, go, go. And I'm still that. So again, it's easy for me to say, I have the discipline and step into your courage and take action and be disciplined and all that, right? It's not for everybody a given. For me, that was always a given. I was very good at that. I was a good planner. I was consistent. I just kept going like a bull in a China store, but keep going, right? That's not good. Like a bull, going, yes. And so don't put me in a China store indeed. But, it's like one of these things where I just always had that sense of keep doing what you're doing, it will pay off. And if it's not good, then God will absolutely give you that V8 moment if it's really not good. And I got several V8 moments. Or in other words, I can say I missed the boat a few times because I had obviously very much a lot of signs from God there. Sometimes it was not the right choice or not the right way, not the right path, not the right journey. I wanted it anyway because it was my choice and I thought I knew better. And I was shown it was not, right? And at some point, you're just kind of like, okay, I get it. But then I'm still a believer, very much so, that God appreciates the fact, higher power, source, whatever you would call that, the universe, that it is appreciated that I take action and I have a cell phone direct line with God. Is that the right way to go? Should I have a sign here? Or please assist me into this next journey or tell me if it's right or wrong. That would be my prayer, but I will still take action if I'm very passionate about it.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not waiting on something to fall in the door, to knock on the door, to come at me, to make me happy. I create that.
I'm an action taker too. When the platform we were on announced that it was changing, I had a website up and I was offering support within 48 hours.
You were right there. Yes.
Just right away, just boom, take action. And so sometimes I don't take that time to ask or to wait. And something that this recent season I've been in has taught me is a little bit more humility, a little bit more do take the pause, do wait, and don't be so quick to say, I know that, I got that. Because sometimes, maybe there's some grace in letting others step in or to collaborate with a few people instead of just taking the lead. It's been a personal growth journey in the last few months. I'll say quite a bit of humble pie.
I love that, and thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable about that. And I think we need to all do that once in a while when things are going really well. We in an easy way of saying it, when things are going really well, we're just on top of that mountain, like yes, and we don't need anything and anybody, and we got it. And then sometimes we just kind of need to fall down a little bit. It's just a gentle little bit to understand that You're talking about that little bit of wisdom that I hope I gained. In my wisdom words, it would be like, we're always taking 3 steps up and falling 2 back. We're not going down, but we're just constantly keeping growing. And when you said about growth, personal growth, transformational growth, self-mastery is huge for me. And it's huge in a sense of that I do know, talking about the past, I went through a lot of trauma in my younger life. And the answer to that was that I was waiting on happiness. The longer I waited, it didn't come.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense? I had to create more for myself. I had to step into that self-knowledge, into that, awareness, into this is what I can do to create a better life for myself. Instead of waiting for somebody to knock on the door and give me a job, or
Yeah.
let's get married, or now we're happy, or have a house and we're happy, all that stuff, right? Didn't make me happy anyway.
Yeah. And entrepreneurship won't make everybody happy either, nor is everybody called to it. 41% of Americans say they do have a dream of becoming an entrepreneur. That means 59%, the majority, do not. They want the job, they want to be told what to do, and they're fine with that. And there's no judgment. If you're not called to entrepreneurship, you will not enjoy it. So I have one more really great question I'm excited to ask you. And before I do, where can people find you? Where's the best way to find Elian Hann online, or to connect with you if people want to gain a little bit more of your wisdom or find out more about what you do?
I love that. Thank you. I'm really easy to find, elianhahn.net. That's my website, and there's tons of information about what I do, for who I do it, and what we're getting out of it, what the results are of working with me. And all the links to my social media are there, my book, the television show. It's all on elianhahn.net. So, and there's a Calendly link or a little email link there as well to set up an appointment. And an appointment with me is always free. To find out what we're doing, right? Or what you want, or what you need, or can I assist in any way? So just call me, or set up a Calendly. I can never say it right. Calendly appointment, right? Yeah, book an appointment with me. Book a free discovery call, and let's get on the phone. Let's talk. And I love that. I love talking to people.
And as always, look in the show notes, look below wherever if you're watching this on YouTube or listening in the podcast. All of her contact information is below. So just make sure you click on it, scroll down, and connect with Elian. Which, by the way, is spelled ELIAN HAAN. There you go. Now you can go down and check it out later. I'm sure you'll find her. So my final question, kind of to wrap this up, because this has been delightful, but it's flown by, is, what is, in hindsight, one thing you really wish you had known before you started going into business, either the first or second time?
Well, I have a quote which is really reflecting my life before and my life after, the first and second life, right? In a sense of knowing that life doesn't get any easier. And I used to believe that life would get easier. If you have this, if you have that, if you own such, if you own so, if you're with somebody. And my famous quote now says, life doesn't get any easier, but you get better at it. And I didn't have that knowledge and awareness that, we get better at it. If we want to learn and grow and dissect and look at it again and respond a little different, we get absolutely better at life. Absolutely. It means, in other words, that I believe that life is happening to me all the time, right? Oh my gosh, here this and here that again. And now I know that life is happening for me, that I just really need to work with it. And just not being scared anymore of the world falling apart. And that's a beautiful thing.
I think I have said that phrase, life is happening for me, not to me, approximately 5 times in the last 24 hours.
See, we are aligned.
No joke.
Yes.
I do love your perspective. What you shared is just beautiful. We're not given a single moment more. than the one we are experiencing right now. And so for anyone that is thinking, I'll do it someday, someday is not promised.
Do it now. Do it now.
Do it now. Get out there. I mean, even, people are telling me that about going on the boat. We have a plan to do a 6,000-mile boat trip to run this through there. People are like, go now. Don't wait. While we're establishing a few things and getting things ready, we're packing. We are planning and packing, and we're on our journey there. But the people are like, just uproot, go.
I love it.
I hear it. I do. I want to in some ways. So end up on that boat sooner than 2 years from now. You'll know why.
I love it so much. Go do it now. And it's especially with women that are thinking, I'm too late, I'm my age, I can't do it, No. You're just starting. This is amazing. Do it. It's whatever age. If you're in your late 40s, 50s, and you're thinking, no, do it. Do it. It's amazing. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Some people are called when they're young. It's true. Absolutely. Some of us are gifted. There's a difference. I've just been studying this, the difference between being gifted and being anointed. And anointed can be on your gifting. This is from John Bevere, by the way. Your anointing may be about your gifts, or it may not be. His particular anointing was about writing. He was a terrible writer, a terrible speaker. But when he got anointed to speak and to write, he went to, his book sold out, and he was 20,000 copies back ordered overnight after 5 years of working towards it, right? So hang in there. Talk to inspiring people like Elian. Elian, thank you again for joining us. It's been such a pleasure to have this time with you. Thank you for your wisdom and all that you've shared today.
Thank you so much, LeAnn, for having me as your guest. And I had a wonderful time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And to our guests as well, our audience here, thank you for joining us on Beyond the Business Plan to unleash your joyful business potential. Entrepreneurship is a voyage, so find your tribe for the journey. I'm LeAnn Lyon, your Chief Joy Officer with Joyminder Solutions. And until next time, keep spreading the joy, keep leading with heart, and I will catch you on the next wave of success. Hey, sales setters, are you ready to launch or refresh your business? Join us at the very next Beyond the Business Plan Summit for breakthrough strategies and inspiration. Visit joyminder.com/summit or check the link in the show notes for our incredible list of speakers and topics, and let's go beyond business plans together. Thank you for sailing with us, sales setters. Remember, your journey goes beyond the business plan. So keep charting your own course, leading with heart, and tuning in for more joy and inspiration. Find all the resources and connections in the show notes below, and your support means the world to us. So join our conversation at #Joyminder, or simply share your favorite takeaways in the comments section below. Until next time, set your sails for success.